You know how much cooler he would look if he had a beard or some longer hair? I'm just saying, bro. The movie begins in 1941 France as we meet Pierre, the French farmer guy, being visited by Hans, the Nazi guy, and his Nazi crew. Hans goes to make himself comfortable and drinks some milk. The two start speaking in French, then they switch to English for some reason. And then Hans starts low-key interrogating my boy about whether or not he's hiding Jews. And then he starts using his words to get into his mind. And the pussy Frenchman snitches and gives up their location under the floorboards. Hans then uses the fact that they can't understand English, so they don't know that he knows that he knows. He calls his Nazi boys and they light the floor up. But then he notices one of the Jews getting away, and instead of getting into the car and chasing her down, he lets her get away. And I wanna bet that this will come back to bite him in the ass later. Plus, what kind of Jew hunter doesn't know how to hunt Jews, bro? I've seen pedophile hunters with way better tactics. Anyways, she runs like her life depends on it, because it kinda does. Lol. We then cut to Lieutenant Aldo Rain recruiting his little team that will be dropped into France with one mission, which is killing Nazis, baby. Come on. They are the bastards, you know, because that's the name of the movie. So they are the Inglorious Basterds. Anyways, he's then like, each of them owes him 100 Nazi scalps, and he wants his scalps, which is low-key fucked up, bro. What do you mean you scalp dead Nazis, man? That's what the fuck. Anyways, we cut to Hitler being Hitler, you know, with his little mustache. But this nigga chose the most recognizable yet most unpractical and straight up most ugly looking facial hair on the planet, bro. You know how much cooler he would look if he had a beard or some longer hair? I'm just saying, bro. It's not even a full mustache, bro. Come on. This Nazi soldier starts explaining his encounter with the bastards and how they killed a bunch of their guys and captured 3 of them, including this guy, a sergeant. And Aldo is like, are you familiar with Sergeant HUGO STIGLTZ? And he's like, everyone in the German army has heard of HUGO STIGLTZ. Put that at the back of your mind. The bastards start laughing, and then we get a super cool backstory of Hugo. So basically, he was enlisted in the German army, but found killing Nazis pretty fun. So he got arrested like some type of deviant Nazi virus and was locked up. But when the bastards heard about him, they pulled up to break him out and recruit him. And he's like, alright. Aldo is then like, if he is to let him go, he needs the Germans' troops location, size, and what type of weapons they are with. Nazi guy is then like, fuck you and your Jew dogs. To which the bastards start laughing again. Insert Donny the bear Jew, super buff guy who enjoys beating Nazis to death with a baseball bat. He cracks that motherfucker in the head and then beats him to death. Look at this nigga's face, bro. He does not want to die. He dies though. The last guy gets called up and my boy snitches with the quickness because he values his life. But the bastards didn't let him go scot-free. See, Aldo doesn't like the fact that he can take off his uniform and nobody will know that he was ever a Nazi. So he gives him something that he can't take off, aka carving a swastika on his forehead. But like, he could put a do-rag on it though. Like, I'm just saying, how many times have you seen Luke Dennis's forehead? He's probably hiding something under there. We cut to the cinema owned by this lady, aka the one that got away, Shoshana the Jew. Shoshana the Jew. I think I'm butchering her name. Shoshana the Jew. This Nazi dude sees her and he's like, you look familiar, like I've seen you on Twitter before. And then he's like, can I get your Insta? And she gives him her ID with the name Emmanuel Mumu. Mumu. It sounds like Momo. Okay, I'll just call her Emmanuel. Anyways, he goes on his way to beat his meat. Cut to the next day. She's at a restaurant where he spots her again and he tries to raise her up, but she rejects him because she only dates Nigerians. But then some Nazis guys spot him and start asking for an autograph like they just saw Burna Boy in public. And then she realizes that he's actually pretty important. She gets invested and turns out he's actually a famous Nazi war hero. So basically he killed hella people on his first day. And he's like, I starred in a movie about myself. And she's like, you just gave me the ick in French. And she leaves. Some days later, she's doing her thing at the cinema when these Nazis pull up and are like, get in the car. And she's like, what's up? And they're like, get your ass in the car. And they're like, get your ass in the car. And they take her to this restaurant with a whole bunch of Nazis, including this guy that she doesn't like. His name is Frederick, by the way. So basically, this guy, Hitler's right-hand man, wants Frederick's movie to be made. And so Frederick wants the movie to be played in Emmanuel's cinema. And he's like, because it's small, only Nazis are gonna be invited, huh? Aight, you cheeky boy. And while they're chatting, someone walks in the room with some Homelander level aura. It's the nigga that killed her family, and off of her face alone you can see the level of discomfort, bro. Shorty starts having flashbacks. She tries to leave with the rest of them, but then he's like, nah, you ain't going nowhere, and he starts asking her some questions. He's also a bit racist towards her black projection control guy. He eats some strudel with some cream. Like, they really went into detail on how he ate this. Like, he ate it. Damn. Then he tries to get in her head with the stare of death that makes people snitch on themselves, but he's like, JK lol, and he leaves. She starts breaking down because holy fuck, man. Cut to the cinema and we see the Nazis leaving because they came to check the cinema out. My black brother is understandably like, what the fuck was that all about? And she's like, you black motherfucking She did not say that. She's like, agendas are about to agenda. So basically, she's gonna use highly flammable reels to burn the cinema down with the Nazis inside, locking the doors so none of them can escape. Cut to this English guy, Winston Churchill, and another English guy. Other English guys, like all the high-ranking Nazi niggas, are gonna be in one cinema watching a movie. So they have all their rotten eggs in one basket and they're gonna blow up the basket. Then he's like, the bastards are gonna assist him with the mission. He's gonna meet up with a double agent in a basement tavern. She'll get them into the cinema. They're then like, indeed, bombastically benevolent. Jolly ho, good show. Not so surprisingly though, Aldo isn't a really big fan of fighting in a basement because it's a fucking basement. If shit goes to shit, they're gonna be cornered. We cut to the tavern and see the agent, Bridget, and she's chilling with a bunch of Nazi soldiers. See this guy? His wife just had a baby. So the boss gave him and his squad the rest of the day off because he has a good heart. I'm just kidding. The bastards pull up and startle the fuck out of them. Bridget goes to sit down with them and they start discussing the plan. But the drunk baby daddy keeps interrupting by asking for an autograph, which she gives him, but the dumbass won't go away and he takes a seat. So the English dude, who speaks German by the way, starts trying to make him leave. Even HUGO STIGLTZ tries to scare him away, which makes me question how they didn't recognize him because everyone in the German army has heard of him. He was even in the newspaper. While they're doing that, this guy chimes in with some Darth Vader vibe. The whole room goes silent and he looks like a high-ranking official, but somehow he doesn't recognize HUGO STIGLTZ, who's sitting right there. Anyways, he sits with them, laughs with them, drinks out of this big-ass glass, plays a game with them that I forgot the name of. I think there was a whole app about this. You guess what's on your head or something. Fuck me. HUGO gets PTSD of when he was being flogged in captivity while they are playing their game. The Nazi guy then orders a drink and the English guy orders it in an English way. See, he used these three fingers where the Germans use their thumb instead. So the German guy knows something is wrong. He knows he's not German. He then toasts and he points his gun at him. But English guys like two can play at that game. So he pulls out his own gun and now hella dicks are at risk of being blown to bits. In comes HUGO STIGLTZ, who blows his meat, who pops his balls. They start shooting. Niggas are losing their pricks. Bridget gets shot in the leg. HUGO gets shot. Bastards, bartenders, and Nazis are falling until it's just the baby daddy left standing. So Aldo was right about this being a bad location for the meeting. Speaking of Aldo, he shows up and this guy starts explaining how he just became a dad and how he doesn't want to go get the milk. Aldo is then like, is there anyone alive on my side? And Bridget says she is. And my boy is like, you bitch, you were working for the Americans this whole time. You fucking whore. And then he makes a deal with Aldo, basically saying he lets them come get her and they'll leave him alone to raise his kid, which he agrees. So he drops his gun and gets blown to smithereens by Bridget, rendering his baby fatherless. They take her for some questioning because three bastards are dead, so she has some explaining to do because she chose the location. Then he fingers her for a bit. She explains what happened and that now that those three are dead, they're going to have to find replacements because she has tickets for the premiere. Aldo is then like, if the Germans ask you what happens to your leg, give them a BS excuse like a mountain climbing accident. She also asks if they can speak any language other than English. And they're like, they speak a bit of Italian, which Germans should know little to none of. So it'll be easier to lie because if someone's lying about their language and you don't know what language it is, what, they can say anything they want. Meanwhile, Hans is busy carrying out an investigation at the tavern basement when he spots a shoe and he signed autograph from Bridget, which means she was there. Cut to Emmanuel having a sparkle symbolic shot of her in the world of the people that killed her people. You know, she does her makeup, sips some wine, loads up a full gun. We also get a little montage of her and her black friend plotting to murder the Nazis. She covers her face with this net thing because she's a bad bitch in the 1940s. Stop playing. And she heads to the cinema hall filled just filled to the brim with hella Nazis, a bunch of high-ranking ones and a bunch of regular ones. She goes to chat with Frederick and his crew. Meanwhile, Hans pulls up on Bridget and the bastards, and he's like, "What happened to your leg?" And she gives him an excuse, and he's like, "LMAO." Like, he laughs his ass off, no joke. He laughed at her, bro. Although Donny and Omar try to speak fake Italian to him, but turns out he actually speaks real Italian, which makes the situation unbearably awkward. And because Aldo's American accent is thicker than fufu, Emmanuel heads to the projection room and starts getting ready to burn the Nazis alive. Meanwhile, Hans takes Bridget away from Aldo into this room. Then he's like, "Put your foot on my lap now." And she knows she's fucked, but she does anyway. Then he makes her pull her own shoe out of his jacket, and look at her, she's like, "I'm fucked, aren't I?" Almost definitely. Anyway, she gets the shoe. He has a Cinderella moment with her. She's the spy, and he strangles her to death. He calls some guys who jump Aldo, take the bomb on his leg off and his knife. Then he takes Aldo outside where he can touch him, but he gets nodded in the mouth. Aldo and the other captured bastard get taken away to a tavern where Hans is somehow waiting for them at. I don't know how he got there. Was there a different vehicle? I didn't see it. Was he running really fast? I don't know. Anyways, they have a really long conversation that basically goes like this. He wants to strike a deal with them. So basically, he did not snitch on Donny and Omar, but he could with one phone call. But he won't, because if he does, the war will continue. So basically, he wants to switch sides last minute, and he also wants a whole bunch of benefits, like a house, no jail time for all his crimes, some big booty South Africans, etc. Back at the cinema, the Nazis are enjoying the movie, but not Frederick. No, he doesn't enjoy it at all. Meanwhile, Donny goes to scope out Hitler's location and get Omar. Oh, and look, I told you, she only dates Nigerians. The plan's about to begin. Activities are about to activate, you understand? The black dude locks them in the theater and goes to await the signal. Frederick leaves the theater because he's feeling uncomfortable and heads to the projection room. Who that? It's Frederick. Fuck. He tries to talk to her and she's like, "Get your ass back in the theater. I don't like you. Take a hint." Then he busts in like, "You bitch, I subscribe to your OnlyFans and you won't even give me head. You're a very ungrateful person. Do you know what $5 can get you in America in 1945? I'll give you head." What? Close the door first though, then I'll give you head. Lick my balls too. Whatever you say, big boy. So he goes to lock the door, but then she shoots him in the back. And obviously the Nazis couldn't hear it because of the loud gunshots in the movie. And then for some reason, she starts to feel pity on him. And then he starts struggling. And she's like, "Oh my god, he was one of the good ones. All he wanted was some head." Surprise, motherfucker. My boy gets his revenge and they both died. Dumb decision making, shorty. Like, that was really stupid. It got you killed. Back to Donny and Omar. They fake being waiters, and with the power of friendship and some super cool glove guns, they take these guards out. Then in the theater, Hitler is enjoying the movie and he talks to his number one dick rider, and my man legit starts tearing up. This is some LeBron level glazing, bro. Jesus Christ. A part of the movie comes up where Frederick says, "Who wants to send a message to Germany?" Then it cuts to Shoshana or Mumu saying, "Me, motherfucker." They all go silent and she's like, "You are all going to die today. Yeah, nigga. The hunter has become the hunter Ed. The chaser, the chose. You Jew hunting bitches are about to get killed by a Jew. Burn it down, my nigga." And he does. And she's like, "Ha ha ha ha. How ironic." And the cinema starts burning down. Donny and Omar busting and start spraying Hitler in his only testicle. Even the side chick gets lit up. Nazis are screaming. Donny and Omar are still spraying. The theater's burning. And it's just a hellish scene. Especially when the projector does this thing with the smoke. What the fuck, bro? Anyways, the timer on the bombs on Omar and Donny's legs go off. And they blow the cinema up. Which to me seems a bit unnecessary. Like, after shooting Hitler and, you know, a couple Nazis, they could have just thrown the bombs into the crowd. Like, did the black guy die too? I don't know. Everyone dies in a cramped up space for the second time in this movie, and the war is over, I guess. We got to Hans and his guy handing themselves over to Aldo as their prisoners in a JK way. But Aldo's like, "Fuck that, cuff him." He shoots this guy because he's unnecessary, and he tells his boy to scalp him. Hans is then like, "What the fuck? I made a deal for that man's life." Blah blah blah. They start chatting about Hans's deal when Aldo's tie moves itself between 3 different shots. Aldo is like, he doesn't like the fact that when he takes that uniform off, no one will ever know that he was a Nazi and all the horrible things that he did, you know. And his forehead is looking really cute. So he carves a swastika on his forehead and they live happily ever after, relatively. Moral of the story, if he had a better barber, he wouldn't have done it. I'm just saying.